I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball.
You need to leave!
I know. I'll box my things up and leave the building. So many young boys grew up watching Goku power up week after week, and I was not one of them. I was watching like Chalk Zone or Dave the Barbarian. For kid me, Dragon Ball was one of those things that just existed in the background. I knew Goku was a thing, but what he even did, I couldn't tell ya. Hell, even when I got into anime in the early 2010s, I still didn't watch Dragon Ball. It was that time when the golden age had come and gone. None of my friends were into it. The only anime one friend ever recommended to me was Girls und Panzer. Also Zoids. The first time I watched anything Dragon Ball, I was 22. Another friend showed me Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, which in hindsight is like such a bad way to introduce someone to Dragon Ball. What was he thinking? I didn't know what the hell was going on, but I guess I liked it because that got me into Dragon Ball. My brother and I spent our early 20s becoming new Dragon Ball fans. I went through the original series and DBZ twice, GT once. I watched Super as that was airing live, and even saw some of the movies, like everyone's favorite, Bio Broly. My point here is that I remember a time when I had no idea what Dragon Ball even was. I didn't know about Bulma, or Jackie Chun, or Poir. I didn't know what the Dragon Balls even did. I knew squat. But I guarantee, if you told me back then to make a Dragon Ball movie, I wouldn't have made Goku a suburban white kid who goes to high school. Dragon Ball Evolution. Oh god. You don't even need to have watched Dragon Ball before in your life to tell this is an abomination. And if you still can't tell, I'm gonna say why. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know this movie came out in 2009. I didn't hear about it until years later, and that was in a Rebel Taxi video. I always assumed this was for, like, TV, like that Ben 10 movie. Then I found out this was actually in theaters. Holy shit. I can't imagine what the reaction would have even been back then. I can't even imagine anyone being disappointed by the end product, because just seeing this poster is disappointing already. Live-action adaptations of cartoons are such a waste bin of a genre. Other than, like, Speed Racer, the greatest film of all time, these movies are nothing more than a Russian roulette of quality. But the revolver has every bullet, and you're gonna be grateful for that, because you're watching Underdog. It's actually an impressive feat to be among these low points of cinema, and somehow be worse than all of them. This just isn't a Dragon Ball movie. It shares nothing in common with the actual series, other than having humans with the same names. Also, there are Dragon Balls. Dragon Ball isn't just a series with people fighting each other. It's a world. Those earliest chapters with Kid Goku, and really the original Dragon Ball series in general, is probably my favorite fictional world. I don't love Dragon Ball just because of the fighting. I love Dragon Ball because there can be a cat at the top of a giant tower who sounds like he chain smokes a pack a day. How do you translate that to live action? Even if someone was dressed exactly as Goku, it would always look like a cosplay. It was always a losing battle. But man, did they fuck it up in the funniest way. Yeah! It's that time of year again, the time we all know and love, crippling winter weather. Hi, I'm Chef Bobby Boobadelli, and I'm trapped inside by 10 feet of snow. Why did I build a restaurant in rural Manitoba? I'll never know. My ex-wife was right. Anyway, I'm out of ingredients, and I can't cook at all. Luckily, I'm not out of the select meals from the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Factor delivers delicious cooked meals right to your door. All you gotta do is microwave them for 2 minutes, and you're ready to go. You don't even need to be a professional chef like yours truly. You just need your own fingers and a box that shoots waves that are micro. Look what I got here. I got mushroom and onion cream pork chop. They also got all these other options, like barbecue sauced pulled pork. You can get calorie smart meals, gluten-free options, and now even Asian and Mediterranean meals. Oh look, the snow's collapsed a portion of my roof. That's not good. So why not try Facta out? It's an easy way to have home-cooked meals for those that don't have the time to cook. Click the link in the description and use my code PointlessHubFB50 to get 50% off, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Now if you don't mind me, I have to quickly seal up this hole before the wolves come and drag me away into the cold winter night. I love the holidays! So, you know those long-sleeve grunge shirts from 2005? The ones that have tribal symbols and skulls? That's Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution. Why the hell is this guy's name Goku? He looks like he'd be named Zack. Or Cody. Maybe he has a sweet life. Goku goes to high school and deals with bullies.
Make me pay, Geeko.
Little do they know that he's much more unique than the other guys. His grandpa beats him on a daily basis. Maybe that's why Goku is constantly sulking. Oh wait, it's because he doesn't have a girlfriend.
Teach me how to get the girl.
Yes, sulking over not having a date. A very Goku trait we all know and love. He just doesn't act like Goku. But you know what? I could forgive the complaining. I could forgive the lack of muscle. But one thing I cannot forgive is Goku actually paying attention to Chi-Chi. That's an unforgivable sin. I cannot think of a less Goku moment than him sitting in a classroom looking over at his crush and having fantasies about her straight out of the fucking Goofy movie. Okay, look, just because something isn't exactly like the source material, it doesn't mean it's always bad. If a movie or show does something actually interesting that validates the change, I'm alright with that. Dragon Ball Evolution does not do that. Dragon Ball Evolution does nothing. Usually I try to find something, anything, positive in even the worst movies. And I tried, and I failed. There is just nothing redeeming about Dragon Ball Evolutions. This is not just a bad adaptation. This just isn't an adaptation at all. Alright, so after impressing Chi-Chi with his hot air, Goku gets invited to her mansion that looks like an actual place that people live in, and not a set at all.
What are you doing here, Geeko?
We went to get you a tighter shirt. There isn't a tighter shirt. We checked.
I'm imagining that the Ox King in this world is just like the owner of a few local car dealerships. One thing that's just baffling is that while there is fighting here, it's not like Dragon Ball fighting. There's martial arts, there's ki, but the way it's implemented is just off. Why are they breakdancing? Dragon Ball Evolution adapts things from literally everything that isn't Dragon Ball. Grandpa Gohan is just Mr. Miyagi and Uncle Ben blended together. The whole opening is simply Karate Kid, where our down-on-his-luck everyman deals with bullies, can only use his fighting and self-defense, and even has a secret connection with the girlfriend of his biggest bully. Ooh.
I'm not saying that Chi-Chi's a stupid name. I'm just saying that it's not normal.
This is the Karate Kid for 20 minutes and then Mr. Miyagi explodes. All the advice Grandpa Gohan gives is just the most generic coming-of-age hero slop you've heard time and time before.
Normal is also overrated.
Believe in yourself. There are no rules. The power was inside you all along. The emotional core of this movie is Goku losing his ChatGPT spawned advice. The way Gohan dies is just so funny. So, Goku gets invited to Chi-Chi's party, right? Fights the bullies, real cool stuff. But then after looking at the moon, he suddenly remembers, oh fuck, it's my birthday! And my grandpa's birthday too!
Something's wrong with my grandpa.
What?
They share a birthday and this guy just forgot. But his grandpa didn't. Look how sad he is. He had a cake ready and everything, and Goku just ditched him for some Chi-Chi. His grandpa died disappointed that he didn't show up for his birthday cake. Honestly, that's kind of better than how the real Gohan went out. The fact Goku did this to his grandpa is just never brought up by anyone. The movie just forgets. Goku certainly did. We just move along. Gohan is dead, and Piccolo killed him. Oh yeah, King Piccolo is the big bad here. Not that Piccolo, King Piccolo, the one kid Goku killed by speedrunning through his chest. 2,000 years ago, King Piccolo and the Namekians invaded Earth and almost destroyed everything before he was defeated. Well, now he's back, and he looks better than ever. 2,000 years ago is like Roman times. A long time ago, sure, but we have first-person accounts that still survive to this day. The Romans' legacy permeates throughout the Western world. Hell, even the myths older than the Romans still survived through writing or oral history. So it's just really funny that in Dragon Ball Evolution, the Namekians almost destroyed the entire planet, like global battles to fend off this alien invasion, and nobody knows what the f*** Goku is talking about.
Namex.
Yeah, they're an alien race that nearly destroyed Earth over...
This wasn't some secret conflict, the exposition was pretty clear on that, yet everyone just thinks Goku's crazy when he brings up the Namekians. This just breaks the world so badly. An event like this would have transformed cultures and history. It at least would have influenced mythology or legend. Maybe Piccolo would have been seen as like a goblin, I don't know. But no, everyone is just genuinely confused, like they have never heard the word Namekian before in their life. And that's the most fascinating thing about the world of Dragon Ball Evolution. There just isn't one. Imagine if the Avatar movie just decided to ditch the four nations entirely. Instead, Aang is from Toledo, Ohio. He goes to high school with Katara and Sokka. Nobody knows what bending is. And when people do fight, the fight system's just entirely wrong. At least The Last Airbender looked like it came out in 2010. This feels like it came out in 2002, on the Disney Channel. After Gohan explodes, Goku meets Bulma, and true to her character, she tries to shoot him in the face immediately. Bulma has blue hair. Singular. She has a singular blue hair. Look, I don't mind Bulma not having blue hair, I'm just baffled why she has this hairstyle at all. What were they even going for here? Is this meant to be vaguely anime? She looks like she came straight from a trailer park and smokes a pack a day. Movie Bulma is just nothing. She's a girl with a gun. She's constantly serious. She's written like she's a secret agent or post-apocalyptic survivor.
Last night a thief broke into my father's company, Capsule Corporation.
And that's just so boring. And this Bulma isn't even really that much of a genius. She didn't know there was more than one Dragon Ball, I guess. Okay, so let's break this down. Bulma thinks Goku stole her Promethean orb and tries to shoot him. She thinks only the 5-star ball exists, but dadoy idiot, there's more. Well, it turns out she had a Dragon Ball locator the entire time. So how the fuck did she not know there were more Dragon Balls? She then says she plans to use all of the Dragon Balls as an unlimited source of energy, like she didn't just find out there were more of them 5 seconds ago. The vehicles and tech of Dragon Ball are just one of those things that give the series so much character. So of course, Bulma whips out a tripod motorcycle.
Cool.
And so our two heroes ride off like pensioners cruising down Lakeland, Florida. Speaking of old people, Master Roshi. He's not old. He's just a middle-aged guy. He's not even that perverted. The casting here is just baffling, because while Roshi is somehow too young, Yamcha is somehow too old. This supposed young adult is played by an ex-K-pop star that at the time was in his 40s. Who does this man think he's fooling?
Well, everything happens for a reason, bro. Got that one from daytime TV.
They even try this romantic connection between him and Bulma. Genuinely impressive that the soup is cold and the salad is hot. How did you manage that? So, all we have is a group of strange, inconsistent weirdos. A goth girl, a middle-aged man, another middle-aged man in a midlife crisis, and a school shooter. Honestly, the most normal person in this entire movie is Chi-Chi. Even then, that's just because she's a generic high school girl that can fight. Why is she fighting herself? What is happening? So, King Piccolo and his sidekick Mai want to find the Dragon Balls, and it's up to our gang to stop them, right? Why is Mai working for Piccolo? Why does she have shape-shifting abilities? Who can say? If they win, Piccolo will get unlimited power and use the monster Ozaru to destroy the world. I wonder who the monster Ozaru is.
I will defeat Ozaru.
You will become Ozaru.
Anyone that's ever watched Dragon Ball knows that Goku turns into Ozaru, or like he did before he got his tail chopped off. Imagine if you had no idea what Dragon Ball was. From your perspective, the main generic guy just became a monkey for literally no reason at all. There is never an explanation for this. It doesn't even matter anyway because Goku can just will himself out of the monkey form. Even if you didn't know Dragon Ball, you would still know that's just bullshit. A werewolf just can't go, oh yeah, I don't want to be a werewolf anymore, and go back to normal.
First rule is, there are no rules.
When I first watched this, I was just confused because the movie is edited so badly. I didn't know if I was watching a montage or a flashback, but apparently it was Goku turning back into himself, and they didn't even bother to animate it, they just reversed the footage.
Every move you're on.
I actually found another baffling budget-saving thing, by the way. So, in a dream sequence, Goku dreams of the world ending, right? Did you catch it? At first I was like, wait a second, let me play it a little bit slower. Right there. Do you know what that's from? They straight up reused a clip from another movie. That's a clip from Independence Day. Just incredible, 20th Century Fox. Rest in peace. So, there's a lot of questions here. The main one being, what the fuck happened? Why does it look like this? Why does Goku do a Kamehameha and move forward while shooting it? Like, that's not how this shit works! A lot of questions need to be answered. Who's responsible? Culprit 1. The budget. 30 million. Making a live-action Dragon Ball movie is already a bad idea. Making one with $30 million is just impossible. Hell, the actor for King Piccolo, James Marsters, only signed on because he thought it was going to be a more expensive project, like $100 million or something. Then he was sent to Durango, Mexico. Yeah, this wasn't filmed in Los Angeles, or Vancouver, or hell, even Georgia. This was filmed in Durango, Mexico, in an abandoned factory. They made him do his own stunts. Alright, so I get $30 million isn't a lot for something like Dragon Ball. If you want to do something accurate, you'd need to whip out that Man of Steel budget. But at the same time, I'm just kind of confused. $30 million is still nothing to sneeze at. So many movies have been made around the same budget, or even less, and they look 10 times better in every way. There really aren't that many crazy effects in Dragon Ball Evolution. It's mainly just people talking and going from one cheap set to the other. And green screens. Very poorly done green screens. The budget didn't make the fight choreography suck. Kung Fu Hustle was made with $10 million less, and it looks like this. Movies can have mid-sized budgets and look professional. There is really no excuse for it looking like this. Freddie Wong had better special effects, and cinematography too, on YouTube in 2011. Hell, this feels like a YouTube video. A fan film that was just not made by fans at all. Which brings me to culprit number 2, James Wong. I don't really know what went wrong with James Wong here. He directed Final Destination 1 and 3 just fine, but my god did he misfire. He was just not suited to this task at all. It was his decision to incorporate hip-hop and dance moves into the fight choreography. He wasn't even a fan of Dragon Ball before getting brought on, but why did they bring in a director who barely knew the material? One who thought this was cool and acceptable, while the director they originally had in mind, Stephen Chow, dropped out. And his name even being associated with the project held a lot of weight. Like, it's one of the main reasons King Piccolo even signed on. But that was a rug pull. Chow dropped out of having any real creative control because the script was just that garbage. Which brings us to culprit number 3, the script. The writer of this movie apologized to the fans for its existence. Wow. And you know what? I get it. This was a movie that was so bad, it encouraged Toriyama to return to Dragon Ball, to mixed results. Hey, I still like the Tournament of Power, alright? Sue me. With a script like this, there was just no salvaging the movie. The writer, Ben Ramsey, never wrote another major project ever again. But here's the thing. This wasn't the script he wrote. I mean, he did write it, his name is in the credits, but this wasn't his original vision. You see, while Ben Ramsey did technically write the story, he wasn't the one that had the final say. The one that had the final say was 20th Century Fox. Culprit number 4, 20th Century Fox. Rest in peace. What a shock, the biggest culprit was the studio the entire time. And it's not just because they basically tricked the cast into signing up for a movie they thought was going to be actually well funded and then sent them off to an empty factory in Mexico. It's not even just because they hired a director who didn't know the material at all. It's because they utterly destroyed the story with rewrites and meddling.
First rule is, there are no rules.
Originally, the movie was going to have the Dragon Ball world, or something close to it, with all the land being one single continent. Dragon Balls and Piccolo were just kind of thought of as a myth. Goku actually tells his grandpa he wants to go to a party for his birthday instead of just ghosting him. There's more actual Dragon Ball characters too. Mai works for Pilaf in this version. The script has Poir. The earlier drafts of the script were actually faithful, or well, more faithful than the thing we got. Somehow each rewrite stripped away something interesting about the story. So what happened? I'm just a silly internet man, I don't have all the answers. But I have a feeling the answer is just the executives. Some faceless executives whittled this thing down with stupid notes, draft after draft, until we ended up with something that was passable for some boomer that never saw an anime before in their life. Then, because they didn't even have faith that the boomers would see this in theaters, they gave it the smallest budget possible. It's often said that the writer of Dragon Ball Evolution apologized for the script that he wrote. And he did, for a time. Until 2 years ago, when he rescinded that apology. And I don't blame him. Whether for budgetary reasons or they just didn't care, they took this pretty alright script, I mean it's not perfect, and stripped everything away until we had a confusing mess. So why did he ever apologize in the first place? Why didn't he just blame the executives? It's the movie industry. He wanted to keep his job. What do you think would have happened if he blamed the studio for destroying the script? He would have been blacklisted. This movie killed careers. Goku and Bulma at least landed on their feet for a little while, ending up on Shameless. It's really funny, you can just pretend this whole series is just an extension of Dragon Ball Evolution. James Wong never worked on another major film ever again. He was an up-and-coming director with the Final Destination movies, and after this, he was banished to TV. His most recent work is on the hit show 911. I feel sorry for Ben Ramsey most of all, though. Okay, maybe not most of all, King Piccolo got literally injured in Durango, Mexico, but for years, this shit show was placed squarely on him. He apologized to take the brunt of the hatred, and it still didn't even save his career. The movie was so bad, he was effectively blacklisted anyway, because who wants to hire the guy who wrote Dragon Ball Evolution?
Make me pay, Geeko.
You know, I don't blame him for taking back that apology. It's really inspiring. Makes me want to take back an apology of my own. Hey IRS.
Yeah?
Remember that time I apologized for not filing my taxes?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I take it back. Fuck you.